Release the Kraken.
Good morning, Hockey Nation fans and Detroit Red Wings fans. It was kind of a rough weekend if you're a Red Wings fan. We are Monday, November the 14th. Let's go Red Wings. Oh, it's really quiet here. There's 0 people on the live, so that's interesting. I don't know if Red Wings fans are all sitting there crying. If you're tuning into this, thank you for doing so. It was kind of a rough weekend. It's been a roller coaster ride of a season for the Red Wings, where they go from being really tight defensively to just the opposite. I don't know whether to blame this on goaltending, well, we'll get into it. Last night, the Red Wings, or I guess on Saturday night, Red Wings lost 4-3 to the LA Kings. You will see that we will go over that game and what happened in it. And the prior game against the New York Rangers, we know, was a rough one, where they got blown out basically with 6 goals against in the third period. And this time it wasn't Alex Nedeljkovic that was in net. So, there's been a stark difference between Nedeljkovic and Husso. Nedeljkovic threw in a pretty good game in his prior outing, but then Husso just got absolutely lambasted on I guess it was Thursday night, where the Red Wings lost 8-2. Rough time. So just look back at the Rangers game going into this. 7-4-3 that were the Red Wings. Rangers 7-5-3, very close on paper. And this was a close game up until the third period. You can see even the shots, like, first of all, not a lot of power plays. You can see the Rangers only got 3 opportunities on the power play, scored on one of them. Red Wings were out hitting them, out blocking. So they're doing a lot of the right things, and they're winning the faceoffs. Only 20 shots on net for the Red Wings. That doesn't help. So that game began with Mika Zibanejad getting the Rangers on the board, and then Joe Veleno getting his second this season, assisted by Jonathan Berggren, which I'm excited about. I like to see Jonathan Berggren have success. I think it's time for him to be in the Detroit Red Wings lineup and carving his NHL career. So it was 2-1 or 1-1 at that point, and then Lucas Raymond in the second makes it actually 2-1. So the Red Wings go ahead. Things were looking fine. Larkin with his 10th assist. Then Chris Kreider ties it up on the power play for the Rangers at that point, but then the wheels fall off. And in the third, Adam Fox, Barclay Goodrow, Mika Zibanejad, Julian Gauthier with his second, Lieber Hasek, and then Jimmy Vesey scores a shorthanded goal. What the heck? Good morning, Unitap. It's a little quiet here in the chat, so thank you for joining. I think a lot of people are hibernating after a rough weekend for the Red Wings. So absolutely the wheels fell off here. It was just kind of crazy. So it went from being the Red Wings up 2-1 in this game to losing. It's painful to even say it. 8-2. So a complete collapse there. We had, I think the goals from Veleno and then Raymond continuing to get on the scoreboard were good, but not much good after that. Oscar Sundqvist at -3. I mean, he'd been really important to the Red Wings, and getting him back in the lineup I thought was really positive, but rough game for him. .758 save percentage. Your save percentage going out the window if you're Ville Husso in that game. That's very un-Ville Husso-like, who so far has been kind of the 920s, 930s. That's what the Red Wings need. They need 920 goaltending. And that's why Nedeljkovic's been struggling all year. Like his goals against not helping things out. So that was a rough Thursday night. And then Saturday night, we have the Red Wings versus the Kings. The Red Wings now on a Western road swing. So they will be in Anaheim tomorrow night on Tuesday. So they start this off Saturday night against the Kings. Kings looking pretty good. So they exit this, I think, 10-6-1. Because I think the Red Wings are now 7-5-3 after this game. Red Wings, the story in this game, getting down early with Carl Grundstrom getting on the board, getting his 4th of the year from Kupari and Edler. So those are good news things, all three of those. From the offensive floodgates opened up for a lot of teams. You're right. When we look at overall, there's some crazy scores. So I don't know what's going on, but maybe the talent level is getting to the point where there's just not enough good defensemen to combat this, or maybe the tactics of the forwards are just they're understanding how to get around defense. I'm not sure. So Kings go up in the first 1-0. Then Dominic Kubalik, who's been Mr. Everything along with Dylan Larkin for the Red Wings, gets his 7th of the year. He's having a great year. I say give him Andrew Kopp's money, because he is doing what you would want from a guy that Andrew Kopp is getting paid. Like he's only getting, I think, $1.8 million or something. Like this is a steal. It's this year and next year. Is it $1.8 million or 2.5? Something stupid. We'll have to go back and look at that contract. But like this guy's now vastly underpaid. He's been terrific. This is great news story for the Red Wings when there's not always a lot of great news stories. Then Kevin Fiala, the big offseason acquisition, signing by the LA Kings, gets his 5th. I think he's about a point a game. If you look at his assists, I think he's got 11 assists, so he's got 16 points on the year after this game. Drew Doughty getting the board. Drew Doughty, I think, logged 24 minutes this game. That's very Drew Doughty-like, but all right. So that at that point, still in the ballpark, right? It's 2-1 Kings, but then the second period, Sean Durzi gets 2 goals, 1 even strength, and then 1 on the power play. So Durzi, if you remember, was a Toronto Maple Leafs draft pick, came over in the Jake Muzzin deal, and you've got to look, along with Carl Grundstrom. So right now, this is looking like a pretty good deal for the LA Kings, because Muzzin, I don't even know is he even back from injury in the lineup? I have to go back and check. But Durzi's looking great. Like he's a top 4. He's able to run in the power play, even if he's on the second unit. This is a great player for the LA Kings now, solving a lot of problems for them. He played great last year, so getting his 3rd of the year is great for the LA Kings. Carl Grundstrom getting offense 4th of the year, that's good news as well. Then Dylan Larkin and Filip Hronek stage a valiant comeback. So the Red Wings get on the board, make it 4-2 with a power play goal, and then Hronek from Kubalik again getting his 11th assist. So that puts him at 18 points on the year. Whew, that's pretty good. Not have anticipated that at this point, but it was not enough. Red Wings don't get a point. 2 minutes left in the game, not enough. They make it 4-3. So they did show some resilience and come back, but that's 2 L's in a row now for the Red Wings. Kind of rough. 810 save percentage. How you can't have goaltenders that are having 800 save percentage in the NHL. You're gonna lose a lot of games. So rough time for the Red Wings here. Again, Larkin getting on the board, and Kubalik and Hronek. So those are good news stories. An assist for Raymond. So he's starting to get points now, which is good news. And I think that's really helpful for them. And, another minus game for Sundqvist. So I don't know what's going on there. That's a -4 in those 2 games. He was real important before to this team, playing in front of the net, forechecking, but these are not, great stats for him. I know people don't put a lot of credibility into that stat, but I do. I think it's still valid, especially when you see one guy having outsized plus minus compared to others. All right, so to Enertap's point, the offensive floodgates on the weekend definitely have opened up for a bunch of teams. Just in time, the Red Wings faced the Anaheim Ducks. They're 7-5-3, so the record's taken a bit of a pounding. Mentioned Lucas Raymond's got 3 goals the last 5 games. That's good news. 6 points for Kubalik. SLATER getting a little bit more offense and assists anyway. But, the Ducks are struggling. Like, if there's only one team in the league whose goaltending is more horrible right now, I mean, Husso's been decent. So hopefully he's had 2 shutouts on the year. Let's not forget. So I don't want to just bury him. This is not strictly one guy, but definitely a difference between these 2 goalies right now. We need more consistency in net for the Red Wings to have more success. So there's that. I think though that John Gibson, this is a goalie that should be, in my opinion, like a top goalie, and he's 2-8-1, 4.47, and 8.88 save percentage. What? There's AHL goalies licking their chops here now. You could argue Anthony Stolarz is an AHL goalie, but he's 2-2-0, and he's a whole goal a game almost, 0.7 goal a game less than Gibson. But an 8.96 or an 8.88 save percentage is not just on the goalie. Let's be honest. So we know that Anaheim has lost Manson. They've lost Hampus Lindholm, who are having success elsewhere. This is a coaching thing. This is a team thing. At some point, Eakin's got to go, but let's hope it's not before the Red Wings get a win here and get back in the W column. Getting 2 points against Anaheim would be fantastic. They face the Sharks after this. So right now, this is probably great timing for the Red Wings. If they can draw a line between them and everyone below them, they are now 5th in the Atlantic. They've gone from, I don't know, it's bounced up and down. It's so crazy, Atlantic. Toronto suddenly 2nd. I think we're at a stage where we have to rethink save percentage. No way. You think so? Well, we have such haves and have-nots. If you look at, I think that, you need a 910 or 920 save percentage, right? So I think what we're rethinking is this has got to be a team number too, right? Now, it's about blocking shots. It's about preventing cross-ice passes and let the goalies face the shots straight on. And if your team is not doing that, you're in trouble. I think your save percentage is going to be terrible. Now, maybe teams are in, what offensive tactics are causing these numbers to rise? I think if you're going to play fire wagon hockey and run around your own zone, and if a team is playing man-to-man in their own zone, that's what's a challenge. And I think offensively what's happening probably when I watch is, offenses are overloading one side or one area. They're creating small one-on-ones. So maybe, that's part of it. It's how do you defend against that? And coaches are going to have to think defensively, not just offensively. So this is, the NHL is a copycat league. So I think some coaches are adapting and some aren't, right? But I don't know. What tactics are you seeing that are causing goals to jump up? Is this a talent thing? Is this a change in rules of how they're being enforced? Is this just not adapting defensive tactics to what offenses are doing? I don't know. It's an interesting discussion we should probably have on another episode here. I'm just going to share. Let's take a look at the NHL standings because that's always interesting. New Jersey crushing it this year, guys. Holy smokes. 9 wins in a row for New Jersey in the Met. That's incredible. That's kind of crazy. Philly's on a big skid here. I don't know what's going on. Lost again. It's by another blowout. Sandstrom having a rough game. All right, if we look at the Atlantic, Detroit is now in 5th at 7-5-3, still playing above 500, but they're tied with Montreal, save or winning percentage-wise. Buffalo had such a great start, is now 5 losses in a row. That's rough. Ooh, Ottawa got a win, but they're 5-8-1, so I don't know. Keep an eye on that. We already talked about what coaches are on the hot seat. 8-6-1. This is not going great for Florida. I think this is, again, we predicted this. Yes, Ekblad's out, but this is, again, a coaching thing. Like, I just don't think they've made good coaching decisions since letting go of Joel Quenneville. Tampa, gets a win. Toronto gets a win. Now, so Toronto and Tampa, this is what you would expect it, right? This makes more sense. There should be a line here. But, Red Wings are within striking distance. And if this Western streak, they should get points in each of the next 2 games, but that means they probably won't. That's not how things work. Anaheim, bottom of the barrel, for sure. By the way, St. Louis, good news there, right? Getting 2 wins, trying to claw their way back in. Now they're 5-8. It's not perfect, but it reverses a nasty trend for them. Vancouver struggling, but look at San Jose suddenly getting 2 wins. So San Jose is not going to, roll over here. It's David Quinn is the coach out there, right? I don't know. They have some talent. I mean, they're not junk. Gosh, what the heck? Would you have predicted 6-6-2? I didn't love the moves by these guys in Edmonton, like 58 goals against. That's rough. Man, the standings are all over the place. But, LA, who they just lost to for the Red Wings, 4 wins in a row. LA looks good to me. You got lots of those young guys popping through. The one that's still shocking to me is Alex Turcotte. Is he hurt still? I don't know if he's out, but so far, interesting year. Red Wings still in the hunt for things, so they'll look to turn around against Anaheim and then San Jose on Thursday. So Tuesday in Anaheim, I think it is, and Thursday against San Jose. We will provide another Red Wings update. Good morning. Thank you for joining, guys. I totally didn't see so many people joined. Go Leafs, go, the 13 rookie. Hey, Leafs are going to get that parade warmed up for sure. What's the Isles goals differential? Let's take a look. It's 8 now. Well, plus 12. Sorry, I can't do math. So, that is really, really helpful, right? Things working out with Lane Lambert. This move looks like it was a good move for them. A lot of good young teams this year. All the older guys are becoming irrelevant. But a lot of the teams that have young defense are what's struggling. Like, look at Ottawa. Detroit's inconsistent as heck, and they have a young defense. Anaheim's got a young defense, and they're missing their top young defenseman in Drysdale. So that's, if you look at who is struggling, it's kind of like the younger teams, like Columbus. Columbus has a number 1-ish defenseman in Werenski, and that drops off massively, right? So if you look at the teams that are struggling, you could draw a direct correlation to how young the defense is. I think that's kind of fair. Buffalo, super young defense, right? When Rasmus Dahlin is kicking, they're kicking. But, you look at the rest of that, and they're missing Yoki Haru. They had their top 3 out. Ottawa with Jake Sanderson, Bernard Docker. Shabbat's now out, I think, with a concussion. So those you can draw a straight line to that. St. Louis makes no sense. Like, this is goaltending, in my opinion. It might be defense, but they're an older defense. Nashville's weird. Like, Roman Josi powered this team last year, and if you don't believe that, then look at what's going on this year. It's not that he's playing bad, but this is the guy that should have won the Norris Trophy last year. Vancouver, again, the defense is like a mess. They're just not great. And San Jose is what they are. Like, Vlasic's not what he once was. Carlson is, the riverboat gambler of all time. Calgary got by with a less than amazing defense. So I think there is definitely some relationship there to the age of the defenders and the success or the inconsistency, at least, of these teams. Because there's definitely a little bit, not that Noah Dobson's old or Ryan Pulak, but these are real good defenders, and then they got some other veteran guys around them. They've been around for a little bit. In New Jersey, I don't know. What's going on in New Jersey? Anaheim needs another year or 2 bust. Then they'll have a wicked rebuild, maybe. Yeah, you might be right. And maybe that's what Pat Verbeek is thinking. Like, let's get in the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. Let's get in the Michkov sweepstakes. Adam Fantilli looking really good. And there's other players in that draft. That should be a very, very good draft next year. But really, if you look at their issue, in some ways, their defense should be fine. But with Drysdale going down, that doesn't help. They've got Olin Zellweger from our team, Everett Silvertips, who's having a great year in the WHL. He's going to step in the NHL sooner than later. I just don't see that not happening. So you've got Olin, you've got Drysdale, you still have Cam Fowler. They have Kevin Shattenkirk. And then they do have some kind of mixed bag of, Boyo and some other journeyman type guys. That is a great question. Who is not going to sustain their current winning streak? I mean, this is going to be tough. Like, I'm trying to understand, do I believe in this? I don't even know if I know who the active goaltenders are. Like, who are oh my goodness, we don't want to buy tickets. No. Wow, that was a big pop-up. Where's the stats here? Player stats. I mean, how are they winning these games? They've got, great season for Jesper Bratt. Nico Hischier really turning on the offense like he hasn't. So that's really, look at his face-off percentage for Nico Hischier, 59%. Look at this one, 36% for Jack Hughes. So that's still not great, but he's still kind of point a game and an offensive contributor, and they're getting goals from a bunch of different people. But you look at their defense, Dougie Hamilton, Ryan Graves. So far, you're like, yes, I'm down for that. John Marino playing really well. Like, he's turning out real good. This turned out to be a very good move for the Devils in exchange for Ty Smith, who I thought he hasn't even played a game for Pittsburgh, so that's interesting. You've got Damon Severson. Dawson Mercer a little off from his rookie pace, but maybe that's to be expected. Siegenthaler is a veteran D. So again, they're getting good minutes, and even, zero offense from Smith, and he's only a -1. Maybe you're pretty happy with that. And I would have thought Kevin Ball would have been a bigger part of this. So Mackenzie Blackwood's 4-2. Vanacek, what a great pickup. I never understood this. Like, if you're Washington, why do you move on from this guy? Like, is he just that inconsistent? But so far, he's contributed 6 wins and 1 loss. Like, Washington traded a second pick for him. So they're getting in a combination, a little bit veteran at the top. Hi, David Arthur. Thanks for joining. Coach Frenchie is not on in the morning, but Unertap did join, so I appreciate you jumping on. So to answer your question, I'm not sure how New Jersey is doing this. Do they maintain an 800 winning percentage? They got to think that's going to fall off at some point, because I don't see anything magical. Like, they're not going to maintain an 800 winning percentage. I don't see that. Carolina, you got to think, is probably in there. The Islanders might maintain in there, and you got to think the Rangers are. I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia. They've been getting blown out recently, so that's going to be interesting. They started out real strong, and I don't know. So you got to, you look at that. Boston just appears to be dialed in with Bergeron and Krejci. It's like the band is back together. Toronto will remain inconsistent, but they'll be up there. They just have too much talent not to. The goaltending is, challenging, but they seem to be compensating for that. I think Matt Murray was back practicing. I don't know if he played or not. Tampa Bay going to be real tough. Florida's just going to be inconsistent as heck, so there's no winning streak there to worry about. Winnipeg looking real good. I mean, this is what you expect from Winnipeg. Dallas looking real good. So I don't think there's anything there going to fall off. I don't see anything there. And Vegas looks real good. As long as, the goaltending remains this tight, this is great coaching. LA Kings, I mean, they got to work on the goals against. I just don't see how you can. I mean, their 4-game winning streak. I mean, do the Kings fall off, though? I kind of think it'll come down a little bit, but I don't know. They got good offense, but I just don't see you being this goal differential and still having this kind of success in your record. Seattle, I can see falling off a little bit. So I think that'll start to break apart a little bit. I just don't see what allows them to win in a tougher schedule. You've got to expect more from Edmonton, maybe Calgary. But I think as far as falling off, you've got to think Seattle's going to come down to earth a little bit. Maybe they already are. Maybe they'll just be a competitive team. I still don't know if they're a playoff team. LA Kings, I think, will get in the playoffs. But I think Edmonton will pop up. I'm not sure about Calgary. But I think Winnipeg and Dallas will maintain. Colorado's going to be real good. Boston's going to still be good. So really, you got to just think New Jersey's going to fall off that record a little bit. And you've got to think that, maybe Seattle and LA. All right, guys, let's see. I keep forgetting he's not in the morning. I'm sorry to disappoint you, David. How is Jersey so good? And this is what I was saying was, how are they? Because you look at the lineup and you're like, yeah, they're getting good offense. They don't have they're getting good goaltending from Vanacek. I don't think Mackenzie Blackwood is really what like, is driving them. Like right now it's Vanacek, right? Which is good news if you are New Jersey because you acquired him. Strange if you are Washington, you just let him go for nothing. They're getting a great season from Bratt, Heeshire, and Hughes. Dougie Hamilton contributing what you would expect Dougie Hamilton to contribute. And they just have a really balanced offense, and they have a big mobile defense. So that's all good news. But this boils down to goaltending. Can Vanacek maintain these numbers? He's only a 909 save percentage, and we got 880. I mean, I just don't see that. And maybe the Intertaps should rethink this, but I think there's a direct correlation. Like, you're going to be 4-2-0 with an 880 save percentage? I have a hard time believing that. I don't know. I don't buy it. And maybe you're right. Like, maybe the number needs to come down a little bit because the offenses are better. Murray's scheduled to start the next game. Okay, so Matt Murray for the Leafs. We'll see if that helps them or hurts them. He's got a lot of flaws in his game when you watch him, the least of which is his, not his ability to stay in. Detroit dropped to 5th. Yes. 7-5-3, I think it is. A good comeback against the Kings, who have been on a roll. Horrible collapse against the Rangers. 6 goals in 1 period. Like, what's going on there? So that's rough. But it is what it is. I think Detroit's young defense, their young defense is really the thing there. And the goaltending needs to have balance between them. They both got to be on when they're getting their start. We can't it's been a roller coaster, and it might be a roller coaster all year, and that might be fine. I think they made it a step over last year overall that's going to help them long term. So those are all good news things. But in the end, you've got to expect, that inconsistency. Illuminati. That was a rough game against the Rangers. Better, come back. Like, again, looked like it was going to be a blowout. It was 4-1 for the Kings going into the third, and then Lucas Raymond and Dylan Larkin bring them back to 4-3. Still no points. So, there's no excuses against Anaheim. This is a team that is just in the basement and going to stay in the basement. Detroit's got to, however they do it, manage the puck the way they did in their better games, manage it properly so that you're not giving opportunity to the other team, can't get into fire wagon hockey, and they've got to clear the front of the net and continue to block shots and play tough defensively and squeak out a win against Anaheim. Tyler Bertuzzi soon. So when is Tyler due? He should be pretty soon, right? Has there been any news on this? Let's see. I think that'll only help. We still don't know what's going on with Jacob Verana. Is there any news on this? Contract on mine. Anaheim return. Okay. So Bertuzzi targets Anaheim return Luff out 10 to 12 weeks, which we know about. That was the Slavkovsky suspension from the Montreal game. So do we know for sure? Is Bertuzzi confirmed? So I guess we'll see. I haven't seen that they've confirmed. I guess we'll watch the morning skate from the Red Wings. Actually, let's take a look. I wonder if that's on. I'm going to look on another channel here. Red Wings morning skate. Let's see if they have an update. It's probably not out yet. Wallman, Oscar Sundqvist. These are old. I don't know. The Red Wings channel needs some help here. Yeah, that's the LA Kings one. LA tonight. Yeah, so I guess we'll keep a lookout. If getting Bertuzzi back would only help them, obviously. Yeah, bad luck for him because he was carving out kind of a bottom 6 role with the Red Wings. I thought that was really good. Got called up 10 to 12 weeks. Not great. Thanks, David Arthur. Appreciate you joining. Have a good day, David Arthur. Agreed. Good morning, Danny. Thank you for joining. So if you haven't hit the likes, maybe share this around to some friends that are Red Wings fans. Let's just take a look in the NHL. We'll see if Bertuzzi comes back for the Red Wings. That's only going to be positive. We're 14 minutes before the hour. Let's just take a look at what we got on the schedule for tonight, if this will work. Just last night, to Intertap's point, 5-1 blowout, Dallas versus Philadelphia. San Jose against Minnesota. Minnesota continues to kind of not hit the strides of the past 2 years. 3-2 win for San Jose. That's a big win for San Jose, who've been struggling. Boston continuing to roll on 5-2 over Vancouver. Vancouver, again, when we really look at it, I think that defense is just messed up. Just wanted to point out Connor Dewar from Minnesota getting his first, is it his first NHL goal? I don't think so. I think he already had his first NHL goal, but he scored his first of the season. Yeah, because he's had 2 goals last year. Connor Dewar, former captain of the Everett Silvertips. We were talking about him on the weekend. Hi, Jan. Thank you for joining. Oh, you're in school. Okay. Bert was supposed to be 4 to 6 days out last week. He'll be back in the next couple of games. Okay. I think it was 4 to 6 weeks, though, right? Hit the likes in the chat. I appreciate that. Danny, Jan. Frenchie's not here, though, is he? We don't have a Frenchie. We have well, unless you're calling Jan Frenchie or Danny. All right, so just looking at this, Connor Dewar, former captain of the Everett Silvertips. We always said Connor Dewar would will his way into the NHL. Oh, I see what you're saying. He's days away. Yeah, okay, got it. As opposed to the original injury, right? Connor Dewar scoring last night. I don't know if you saw the prior. He fought somebody in the prior game. Who was it? Someone significantly bigger, but he's tough as nails. Connor's just gonna. He signed a 2-year one-way deal, taking advantage of the cap hit in Minnesota. And oh, he's talking about you. Okay, got it. Enertap was Frenchie. Close. That's okay. Danny, it's not you. It's Enertap. Same person now, right? Enertap and Coach Frenchie. Logan Churcher -2. But, good game overall. James Reimer, who's also a yo-yo type goalie, throwing in a good game. 946 save percentage for Gustafsson. Holy smokes. 37 shots against. That's kind of crazy. Haven't really seen a big breakout from Marco Rossi. How is Eriksson Ek doing? But you can see they're filling in bodies that are cheap to compensate for the extra cap hit. Not a bad year from Eriksson Ek, but they definitely need some more offense from him. We know he's a two-way player because they don't really have a number one centerman otherwise. Like, I don't think the Hartman thing's worked out. Is he still hurt? Yeah, it looks like he's still out. And then Marco Rossi is just going to take some time, I guess. Oof. Wow. No goals, 1 assist on the year. That's rough. So not getting offense from a player that we all thought would kind of get 50 points. Yeah, Frenchie is exactly. Enertap is Frenchie when he's sleeping. There's only one coach, Frenchie. That's true. I'd like to see the Habs doing well. They are doing well. And I think Martin St. Louis is doing a great job. I mean, I think they made some, understated moves. They picked up some players that are capable of contributing, like, Hoffman and Dadonov. Not that Dadonov's necessarily lighting it up, or is he still hurt? I think he might be. You guys keep better track of the Montreal Canadiens than I do. But you've got to like the play of Cole Caulfield. You got to like the play of Nick Suzuki, Kirby Dach. Almost point a game. Those are all good news stories for the Montreal Canadiens. Where are we at with Kaprizov? Let's look at. I would love if you are not watching this guy. 10 goals in 15 games, 17 points, -5 though is telling of their year. That's not great. If we're not watching Connor McDavid, if we're not watching Jack Hughes, if we're not watching Kaprizov, like, these are young stars in their prime. You got to watch these guys. Like, we got to make sure that we watch them because you're never going to see this again. Like, this is like, Wayne Gretzky is, when you watch Wayne Gretzky, he was 24, 25. Obviously, there were cups that went along with his success in Edmonton, but still, like, watching Draisaitl and McDavid, this is once in a lifetime hockey. Kaprizov the same. Like, if you, like, wouldn't you want to go back and watch every game Pavel Datsyuk played, or Pavel Bure, Fedorov? Like, you don't get to enjoy those now. You have to watch them on YouTube clips, but that's what we're experiencing. This is like, these are special players. And then Jack Hughes is like, his game is evolving. So it's like watching a young Patrick Kane. Like, you can go back in time and watch Patrick Kane when he was starting out with Chicago. You get to see the evolution of him as a player, and that's kind of what you're seeing with Jack Hughes. So I encourage you to watch teams that aren't, your own homer team and check out these things. And same thing, like, the Red Wings, we had Zetterberg and now we got Raymond and Sider. You had Zetterberg, you had Lidstrom. We get a chance to see these guys early on. Like, these are good news stories. Oh my God, right? Saw most of Fedorov and Datsuk's games. I mean, Fedorov was like the best player in hockey for years, like maybe a 4 or 5 year stretch, especially in the playoffs. Like, the guy had 20 points a year in each of 4 or 5 consecutive playoff seasons. Like, and he was a great defensive player. I just remember him against St. Louis coming back and back checking against Gretzky, taking the puck and going up to the other end and scoring. Like, he was just so phenomenal. And yes, Wayne Gretzky played briefly in St. Louis. It's an attempt to win a cup, to cram a cup into St. Louis history, but that didn't happen. All right, everyone, we are 8 minutes before the top of the hour. I really appreciate everyone who joins in the morning. If you're watching this live, that's amazing. Unrivaled documentary, yes. And then we just recently had, was it the 25th anniversary of the Cups? That's not good. We need Cups soon in Detroit. I feel we're making progress in Detroit, though. It's great to see these young guys. It's going to click in. Even Larkin's doing better than I would have anticipated. Seems like, you put any more talent around him. He doesn't have to carry the puck so much, and that's worked out. Fedorov's a legend, I agree. Wasn't he a general manager in St. Petersburg in the KHL? I don't think he's coaching anymore, but he's the GM, I believe. All right, well, thank you to everyone that has joined, new and old. Please hit likes. 25 years since that. That's how old McDavid is. He's born in 97. What does that tell you? I think Kaprizov was born in 97 as well. Is there a coincidence here? Kaprizov and McDavid, both born in 1987. I don't know what that says. Thank you to everyone who has joined. Really appreciate the opportunity to share with you Detroit Red Wings news and Hockey Nation fans. Please hit likes and subscribe if you haven't already, and check in. We will do another live on Wednesday morning, and we will recap the game against Anaheim on Tuesday night and preview the game on Thursday versus the San Jose Sharks. Hope you have a wonderful day, and check out Hockey Nation Live tonight on the lives with Coach Frenchie and Heenertap and Marco and whoever is going to be on the pregame skate. Thank you, Heenertap. I really appreciate your support in the morning and always joining. And I know we always get viewers after the fact on the live. So even if you're watching this after the live and can't comment, well, maybe you can comment. I don't know. Please make sure to hit the likes and subscribes. And if you're new, we welcome you to come back. We will see you again on Wednesday morning. And then on Friday, we put out a non-live update. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Illumi. Hopefully I'm saying your username. Illumi, not me, reloaded. I don't know what that means, but I like it. I appreciate you jumping in, and I appreciate your comments in the chat. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day, and we will look forward to seeing you on Wednesday morning. And then obviously every night there's Hockey Nation Live stuff, so you can check out the channel tonight with Coach Frenchie.